Good evening, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show Post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports. Good evening again. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined by two of my partners in crime. I got the professor in the building. How you feeling this evening, Professor?
And you know how we do. We ready to go. So praise the Lord. Let's get it.
I got my man Ed. What's going on, Big Ed? How you feeling this evening?
Oh man, it's good to be here as usual. You know I look forward to seeing you guys every week. Come on now, let's talk some sports.
And then we got special guests in the building. I am honored to introduce our special guest. We got Mr. Aaron Caesar and co-head coach Larry Mark of the Future Soccer Club Monarchs. What's up, fellas? Welcome to Positional Sports. Glad to have y'all in this evening. How y'all
doing? Feeling good to be here.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us. Definitely an honor. Thank you guys.
All right. Looks like J3 is gonna pop in and out and have a little technical difficulties, but if he can get in, we'll get him in. So this evening, we're gonna start off the top with an interview with the Future Soccer Club Monarchs. Get to talk with Aaron and Coach Mark. After that, we're gonna go into the NFL. We're gonna do our AFC team needs for the draft coming up. Some other topics that caught our attention. Of course, Professor's post takes and our final post of the evening. As always, we appreciate you all tuning in each and every week. It is truly an honor to share our positions on sports with you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy posts on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. So I want to start out with my man Aaron.
Aaron,
how does it feel, my friend? I just want to say congratulations to you and Coach for that enormous victory y'all had about 10 days ago down in Dallas.
Raise the roof. Did we still raise the roof? Does anybody still do that?
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, we do it. We that age demographic. Right, I knew y'all understand.
But before we talk about the Dallas Cup, I want to get either you or Coach Mark a chance to give us a little background on the Monarchs. Tell us a little bit about the Monarchs.
You want to go first, Coach Aaron?
All right, I'll start first. So, Future Soccer Club Monarchs is a small family-oriented, small base soccer club and based in Prince George's County, Maryland. Originally out of the Upper Marlboro area, right? Two fine gentlemen by the name of Mark Langan and John Washington, right? Just two dads, right, with sons who they wanted to provide a good environment to play the game with. Started a club, very humble beginnings, and had a large group of talented kids in the Upper Marlboro area, and it continued to grow. This was probably 10, 15 years ago, and just kept rolling. At this point, the club has 3 teams, right? So we have a 17, 8-year-old team, which Aaron and his do-rag is on. We have we also have an 18, 19-year-old team, and we have a 14 and 15-year-old team. So, yeah, small club, but obviously we're achieving great things because we got a great group, great families, great hearts. Go ahead, Aaron. Add your take to it.
Yeah, we a small club out of PG County from Upper Marlboro. I've been on the team for about, I want to say 4 or 5 years. And yeah, they all like my brothers. It's just like it's a bunch of brothers playing together, playing soccer at a high level, trying to get better every day.
Amen.
So you said high level. How high of a level are you guys competing in?
At this point, the highest level that you can really compete in the country when it comes to youth soccer, right? So the tournament that we just came from in Dallas is one of the most prestigious youth soccer tournaments in the world, and is definitely the top tournament in the nation. So yeah, the level doesn't get much higher than that. These kids are all fighting to, hopefully get spots in collegiate programs, and also trying to continue to hopefully get a spot on a professional team somewhere and get paid, pretty well to do what they love to do. So yeah, we're at the top of the food chain right now.
I like
Especially
that.
since
I
it
like
moved us to number one. Especially since it moved us to number one in the state, number 7 in the nation. We
Talk that
definitely
talk.
up there.
Talk that talk, man. Let them know.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
All right.
Number one in the state of Maryland, number
No.
7 in the country.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Coach Mark and Aaron, again, thanks for showing up tonight. We really appreciate the both of you being on with us. And I have so many questions, but I'm gonna try to limit them. So the first one, I want to talk to you for a minute, Coach Mark. The question I have is: it's no secret that Prince George's County, Maryland, where you guys are located or based, is perhaps the richest or most wealthy, Black county in America. And I was wondering if, because I think from the distance and from the outside looking into soccer or football as a whole, I think it seems that Black players are underrepresented in America as far as soccer is concerned. How do you get Black kids to gravitate towards soccer, particularly in this in predominantly Black communities, although wealthy Black communities? How do you get youth, Black children, to gravitate towards soccer as opposed to Little League baseball,
Right.
youth football, definitely basketball? Is it a challenge? Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, great question. And for one, as you know, I mean, the DMV area already, you know what I mean, is a melting pot in general. So this question, right, as I answer this question, it's not just even isolating, Prince George's County. Like, it's going to be the same for inside the city in DC, Montgomery County, Northern Virginia. It's the same thing, right? It's the same story, same struggle. So, step number one. So for me and my generation, right, of young African Americans who kind of were playing the sport in the 80s and the 90s, the majority of us, our parents were immigrants, right? So my parents were from Trinidad and Grenada, right? And most of the kids that I came up with, same thing, like their parents were from some African country or from some Caribbean country. So I grew up playing with a lot of, other brothers such as myself. And it really wasn't until I got a little bit older, once I realized, damn, they don't even think soccer is cool.
Right.
As a young kid, I didn't even realize that because my environment, right, it wasn't pro football, it wasn't pro basketball, right? So I didn't even realize that in other people's households, like Sunday was big football day, you know what I mean? Because that's not how my family was. I didn't even realize that. So I started to play basketball, as a social thing, when I'm in middle school, like, I want to be cool, like that's what everybody's doing. That's what the girls like. Cool, I'm gonna get friends. Cool, I'm gonna do it. But it was always in my heart though, right? But naturally, just trying to acclimate to everything, around in America, that's what you gravitate to. So I'm saying all that to say, like, I started off coaching really in some of the roughest neighborhoods, in DC and Berry Farms and things like that is where I got my coaching start, right? And the reason why I bring this example up is because those little kids there, you couldn't tell them nothing. It wasn't like, oh man, soccer's a white sport or what's this sport? They loved it. You know what I'm saying? They're getting introduced to a sport and they loved it. And in that neighborhood over there, those kids is not that much structure, right? So they don't really have to do anything. They can do what they want. If they feel like going to school, they go to school. When school is over, if they feel like doing something unproductive, they're going to do it. They feel like being productive, they're going to do it. So the fact that those kids are showing up with no parents dropping them off, nothing like that. They're just coming to the field for the love of the game. You know what I mean? Like, also, those kids, one day I'm driving through the neighborhood, they stole the balls out the rec center. You know what I mean? They go play with themselves in the neighborhood. I thought that was amazing. I said, we got something here. So that just goes to show, right, that the love is there and the natural aptitude for the game is there. But what happens is, right, and this is what I saw even coaching for years in Berry Farms, is that as you start to get older now, like I said, when I got to middle school, oh snap, soccer not cool, right? So the same thing, they're going through that too. You get older and it's like, oh man, that's not cool, because the Black community is thinking there's no money in soccer, right? They thinking when you play sports, right, you're supposed to be this big figure on TV getting all this money, and how America kind of has it set up. And then I don't know if we're going to get into that in this interview or not, but it's set up in such a way almost where, like, yeah, they're not they don't want almost. I don't want to say anything unpolitically
go ahead.
correct, but
No, you good.
yeah,
flow.
you want me to talk that talk? All right.
Talk that talk.
It's almost like, yeah, they want to keep it for themselves because they know what happened in other sports once we got a hold of it. So it's almost like strategic marketing, advertising, like everything they're doing is almost to keep it away so that black people don't think there's money in it, or black people feel like it's a white sport. But if you go internationally, you'll see, right? Man, black players the best players in the world, right? France, who just won the most recent World Cup. You look at their lineup, that starting 11, 6 to 7 black players on that field. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Same thing, African descent, immigrated to France, just like most of the ballers here in America, right? So that's kind of where it starts. The beauty now within PG County, right, that I'm starting to realize, right? So I went to the Mather myself, right, in high school. Stan? Okay. You want to do it? Okay. So, yeah, I'm kind of torn because I also coach at McNamara. So me and the other coach for Future Monarchs, we also coach at McNamara. So, you know, it's kind of tricky because we just beat the Mather the other day, but that's neither here nor there. So, shameless plug.
Homeless,
you know, shout out Mark Brown for McNamara, we out here. But anyway, so one of the things that I saw in PG County was that I'm running into a lot of guys, you know, ex the Mather Stags, ex big time athletes, ex basketball and football players. But what's starting to happen is, these kids, and a lot of it is because of YouTube. Like I said, in my era, we didn't have access to all these things that kids have access to. And like I said, it was like the powers that be were trying to limit what we knew about soccer. So now these kids, as you know, if y'all got kids, man, they're getting everything right in front of their face. So as the most two recent World Cups rolled around, more kids had more access to it. And then more kids are now seeing other black kids doing dope stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're seeing other guys who look like them. They're doing stuff that they think is kind of cool and swaggy. They liking the moves. They're liking the goals. And they're starting to tap into it. You know, they're starting to love the soccer culture within itself. FIFA has a lot to do with it. You're starting to find a lot of guys around the way playing FIFA. You know, they're starting to learn all the players through FIFA. And through playing FIFA, they realize, wow, man, there's a lot of black dudes out here, you know, playing the sport. So, like I said, I'm starting to have conversations with parents where it's like, man, you know, they were a basketball guy, football guy, but their son wants to play soccer. They don't know why, right? They don't know what to do. But it's like, that's kind of where me and the other coach, and his name is Mark as well, where we kind of come into play where these parents are relating to us. They're like, all right, you know, you kind of like me. I can relate to you. And my child can relate to you as well. You know, hey, man, help me out, man, because I don't really know nothing about this soccer stuff, but it seems like you do. And then, so that's what we're trying to do, right? Mm-hmm. We're trying to kind of kick that door wide open to let all these other black, boys and girls come up on in here and enjoy this beautiful game. And then hopefully either get an education from it or even better get paid from it. Because a conversation I had with the young lady in Berry Farms, I'll never forget that. I was telling her, like, man, your child is okay. You know, keep going. You never know. One day he can get a scholarship to play somewhere in college. And she said to me, wow, they giving scholarships for soccer? She was dead serious. She had no clue. That they're giving scholarships for soccer. So this is what I mean. It's like black people just didn't really know for real. And now they're starting to know.
And a lot of people don't know real quick, Professor, a lot of people don't know that the highest earning athletes in the world are soccer/football players.
Yeah, look it up. Right. Look up that top 10 list every year of the highest paid. Yep, and they're gonna be on there.
They're 6 or 7 out of the top 10 every year.
Every year, that's what I'm saying. So it's there. You know, black people just didn't know, but it's changing. What these boys did at Dallas Cup, it shows that it's changing. You know, that's what made what they did so monumental. I'm getting calls every day from people from my era, right, and the era before my era, right, who kicked down doors, you know. And I remember Aaron when I came into the room and we talked about that, right, the night before the game, right. Yeah. I told him that how big that was and how so many people wish they could be there and how that meant so much to so many people. And I told them, I was like, y'all probably don't understand this right now. Maybe y'all will get it 10, 20 years from now. But what those boys did was big time for the black community, for anybody, even the Spanish community. I mean, anybody who's a minority who knows anything about youth soccer knows how big that tournament is. And to see, you know, a team that looks like us to be able to.
Okay, we having some.
We lost your
Can y'all hear
sound
me?
for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I was saying
Okay.
that what we did was very inspirational, and I'm getting calls every day from people who were inspired all over the country. You know what I'm saying? People said I had to watch the game with my son. I sat my son down and watched the game. You know, my whole family, we sat down and we watched the game, and we're proud. Even people who don't even play soccer told me how inspired they were just seeing that. So, yeah, that was big.
Go ahead, Professor.
Hey, yo, can y'all let the Carol Lion come up in here since y'all got all that stag love going on?
I love Carol.
Real quick, do you
Every
know?
stag love's going to Carol. Every stag love going to Carol and doing work.
Hey, Coach Mark, do you know Aaron Yates?
Aaron Yates?
Because you're talking about Barry Farms, yeah.
Aaron Yates.
Because before they tore everything down, he was running basketball leagues over there and stuff. Oh, I think we lost his audio. All right, till Coach come back. You got the question.
People keep trying to call my phone and I'm declining it. But now,
Okay.
Mr. Wallace, there was a Mr. Wallace who was up there running the rep when I was up there. Aaron Yates, I'm not sure. I did go up there, and I used to, when they had the basketball league up there, I think it was the Kennedy League, when they used to have that up there, I used to go up there all the time for those. One of my good buddies had a team that used to be in that league, and Kevin Durant used to be on this team in the summer, so I used to go up there for that all the time. That was what.
So if you've seen that, then you've seen him out there coaching. But I just wanted to see if you knew him.
Okay.
Quick question for Aaron. Okay. Quick question for Aaron, though. Since you've been in soccer and really playing and really just appreciating the sport that it is, getting the feel for that world flavor, tell us a little bit about the life skills, the discipline that the sport has taught you in order to become a better young man into a better man.
Yeah, soccer taught me so much. So, like, I started playing soccer when I was in 8th grade. So everyone else I played with, my whole future team, when I hopped on the team, that was my first ever soccer team that had a real coach. So I was years behind everybody else. So what soccer taught me was that, like, when I got there, I can't lie. When I was first on the team, all my teammates was laughing at me. How he made the team? He sucked. But then I learned that, like, if I really wanted to get better, I had to grind every day. And that's really what it taught me with everything. Like, I also DJ on the side. I do so many other things on the side. It also taught me that, like, with soccer, I have to grind and work every day. So with me grinding and working every day, I got the opportunity to be on this team with my teammates, being able to play with them at such a big event such as Dallas Cup. So soccer just taught me about grind every day, how sometimes things don't go your way, but it's about keep going. And then one day it will, because every dog's got his day, like Coach Larry say. Every dog got his day.
Right. So with the empowerment that you have now, how will you move the sport ahead as you move on to college and maybe a professional career? How will you show other young people the true benefits of playing soccer?
Just by keep doing what I've been doing, keep working hard. When people see you working hard and doing what you're supposed to do and achieving things while doing that, they be like, dang, I want to do that too. I want to be just where you're at. So as long as I keep my head down, keep grinding, keep hitting the lab and working on my craft and getting better no matter what level I'm at, people are going to be like, wow, I want to do what you're doing. What are you doing to get here? And that might inspire someone else to do the same thing.
Excellent. And lastly for me for now, Coach Mark, what do you do or say to athletes that really don't understand that grind of playing soccer that's just as prolific as playing, football, soccer, any of the other sports?
Yeah, you got to have a special character. No offense to the other sports, but it's a special character that you have to have because you might not have that immediate glory, right, that you get when you're playing a basketball or football. You're going to have that immediate glory from the neighborhood, from your family, from everybody around you. And then you're seeing it. You're seeing the NBA, you're seeing the NFL, and you're seeing the reception that everybody gets. So from soccer, you might not be seeing it or feeling it, right? So it's a lot of it is a hope and a dream. You know what I mean? And it's really for the love of the game. You got to really have that. You really can't enter soccer in America at least, with the intentions of, I just want to make money. You know what I mean? Which is what you'll find a lot of other kids when it comes to basketball and football, especially basketball. I just want the girls. Man, I was playing basketball for the girls. Like, you can't do that in soccer. You have to love the game. If you don't love the game, and ask Aaron, I would tell kids on our team years ago, quit. I'll tell them quit, man. You know what I'm saying? At this stage, like, man, if you don't really love this, if you don't really want to do this, right, put this work in, put this grind in every day. You know what I mean? Put the work in. When we're not around you, bro, go do something else, man. Go do something else that you love. You see what I'm saying? Don't waste your time doing this as a young teenager right now, right? These critical years, do something that you love, man. Harness that passion. Don't waste time over here.
You got something, Ed?
You know, I always got some.
You had that look on your face.
So Coach Mark, and then real quick, well, let me start with Aaron. Aaron, did you say you started playing in 8th grade?
I started playing in 8th grade.
Okay, so if you started playing in 8th grade, was there any outside like pressures? What made you go to soccer instead of another sport? I asked your coach this earlier, but how did you gravitate towards the field, the pitch? How did you gravitate towards the pitch instead of the hoop court or the baseball field or whatever?
I mean, I was always playing every sport for real, and I can't lie. Before I started playing soccer, I used to look at soccer like, what is that? Like, I don't play soccer. I don't really care nothing about soccer. But then in middle school, I had a friend. He was Hispanic. His name was Henry, and he was good. And me and him will always compete at everything, but he always be better than me at soccer. And I told myself I gotta get better than him at soccer. So when I went to aftercare, I used to go juggle a soccer ball, pass against the wall, just try to get better than him. And then all of a sudden he stopped playing. I just fell in love with the game, and I just kept playing. I had a passion for the game when I started playing it.
Thanks. And Coach Mark, real quick, is it getting easier? You did mention a little bit. You touched on this a little bit earlier when you were talking, as far as parents coming up to you. But are you starting to have an easier time getting kids involved in soccer?
Yeah, definitely.
Or talking to parents because of the head injuries that's going on and being talked about and publicized in football? I know soccer can be a contact sport, but it's a little less contact than, say, football.
I like your questions, man. You got some good questions. It's funny that you said that because, yes, all that is true. I'll give you a couple examples. So step number one, my son's mother, she was a cheerleader, right? She grew up in that football culture, right, as well. And one of the things that she told me immediately, right, I didn't even have to say anything. You already know. She told me immediately, son's not playing football. I don't care. I don't want him to do it. He's not doing it. Hey, that's fine with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was easy. Okay, what else you got to talk about? You know what I'm saying? And then, so yeah, she definitely represents that new era of mothers, right? Who don't want that. And also, I was telling somebody the other day, right? I mean, it's unfortunate what happened, right, with that mass shooting, right, with the football player. Mm-hmm. But what I was saying is, watch, that's going to change the trajectory of football because it's going to shine a light, right, on what's going on with these fellas, what's going on with their brain. And a lot of them are even saying that. A lot of these football players, they're saying they don't want their kids to play. Right. They don't want their kids to go through what they went through. I feel like it's split. I hear some NFL players is like, man, I don't care. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and then some is like, nah. So, yeah, a lot of that is come my way. I'm waiting on it. Come play soccer. We waiting on you, buddy. We waiting on you. Right, because everybody can't play. It's cool. Everybody can't play football. You know what I mean? Everybody can't play basketball. It's okay. There's other options, man. We can do that. We can play soccer too. We can swim, play baseball. We can spread it around. There's enough millions for everybody. Let's get it all.
I agree.
All we gotta do is learn.
Exactly. And look at how Aaron was telling y'all. He started in the 8th grade.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? That is amazing. That is amazing, right? And hopefully he can take this, what he learned, right, and the grind that he put into it. He can apply that to his DJ career and whatever else that he decides to pursue. Once he saw, right, the success that he had, right, hopped in late, put that grind in, right? He saw our team put that grind in. He saw the success that we had. All he has to do now is apply that same formula to anything else in life, and he's going to be straight.
Mm-hmm.
One last question before we let y'all tell us about the Dallas Cup. And I'll let Aaron handle this for me. A two-part question for you, Aaron. First, tell us the difference between a traveling team and like a local community-based team. And then second, I need you to tell me about, how is it that you this big soccer player now, with your friends and all that? Do you have your soccer friends and then your school friends? And how does all that work when they find out that you got mad skills on the pitch?
I'm sorry, what was the first question again, sir?
If you could explain the difference between a traveling team, which is your team, and like the normal community-based teams that we would see, like the rec center teams.
Okay. Well, basically, so what I say was with a travel team, the practices are a lot more frequent. With a rec team, the practice will probably be like 2 times a week. With a travel team, will be like 3. And then also with a travel team, you're playing at a higher level, and you're going further to play. Rather than in a rec team, you're just playing against other rec teams out there that have the levels not that high. It's not as competitive. And also in a rec team, it would only be like for a season, but a travel team it could be a whole year.
Mm.
Did you have anything you want to add to that, Coach Mark, before he tells us about his friends?
Nah, he spelled on with that. You know what I mean? Just travel is you serious. Travel is like AAU.
Yeah, travel's money.
Right,
Which
exactly.
is another way they can help eliminate certain elements, because
True.
you go to these big tournaments, not only do you have to get there, not only you have to pay for lodging, you got to pay the fees to get in these tournaments.
Right.
So yeah.
And that the segue into the Dallas Cup, that's another thing, that makes that victory so big time, because even though right, I know how you mentioned, right, coming out of PG County, wealthiest county for black people in the country, but still our club is still a small operation, and compared to other organizations that we're going up against in travel soccer, they have a large how do I say this? There's a lot of money behind them. It's a huge operation behind them. So in Dallas Cup, the team that we beat in the finals, FC Dallas, is actually an MLS organization, right? So MLS is the NBA, if you will, of soccer, the NFL, right? It's the highest level of professional soccer in our country. So how it's set up, right? These MLS teams will also have traveling clubs and academies. You see what I'm saying? And so they're getting the funding of these MLS clubs. So they're getting $1 million funding. You know what I mean? We don't have that. We don't have that at all. So we're still suffering. So also to show you the trickiness of the landscape, right, of soccer in this country and how they set it up. Because, PG County, wealthiest county, still we struggle, right? Our club team struggles to get what it needs, right? We have we practice on one field, 3 teams on one field. You see what I mean? Where these other organizations out here that we're coming up against, they got about 30 practice fields to choose from, right? Aaron can tell you we were just down there in Dallas and we're going to all these different little parks, 30 fields at this park, 30 fields at that park. You know what I mean? We only have 3 teams in our organization. They got about 3 teams in each age group. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot that goes into it financially to be a travel team. That a lot of these other teams are getting sponsorships and things like that to help them out that we're not getting. So what Aaron and them boys did was big time.
We had a question come in from J3 because he couldn't get it because of tech difficulties. Do you guys get any county support?
No, so that's what we're trying to get now, right? After those boys did what they did, we started it, pick up some traction. I think the county executive, she kind of retweeted and put on Instagram, our achievements. And I think that's the plan right now, to try to get some support, behind these boys and behind our club, because we still got a lot of things to do, right? Taking this show on the road, getting these guys some looks, getting them to college and things like that. So, we need all the help we can get.
Well, fantastic. We just popped it up on the screen, but for y'all out there that's listening, might not be able to see this. Check out futuresoccerclub.org. That is the team's website, and I'm sure they would appreciate any donations or assistance you can help these fine young men and women doing great things in the soccer field. So tell us about the Dallas Cup, Aaron. I'm going to let you off on the friends. Tell me about the Dallas Cup.
The Dallas Cup was an experience. Like, when I got home, it was hard. It was hard to even understand how big of, we played in the Dallas Cup stadium, in the stadium for FC Dallas. When I got on the field, when I got subbed on, and I was running on the field, I looked up at the Megatron, and I saw myself running on the field. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, this is crazy. It was a crazy experience. It was high-level games, watching great players, watching players on my team. Shout out to our fullback, Jordan Liddell, locked down at UCLA, full commit.
Right.
I was doing amazing things, and seeing what we could do against those teams inspired me even more to work even harder. so we could win that and come back home and win even more cups and tournaments we got coming up. Like we got state cup coming up and things like that. So being in Dallas was a crazy experience. Gave us a lot of confidence when we won that one.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. So I heard a little birdie told me that you guys were the only predominantly black team down there. Was that accurate?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm sure they weren't too happy to see y'all take that cup home. And y'all got to send us a picture of the cup so we can post it on the website. We need to see the cup.
Okay,
Definitely.
I got you.
Definitely.
I know they wasn't happy.
So Aaron, when you were down in Dallas, were there qualifying events leading up to Dallas, or did everybody meet in Dallas because of COVID? Did everybody just meet in Dallas and go for it, like maybe one day was one round, another day was another round, and then you had the championship? Was it something to that effect, or did you build up to that point and then finally you all flew to Dallas and had the championship?
So basically, 2 years ago, what we were doing we were trying to build up enough points to be able to go down and play for Dallas. But you have to have a certain amount of points and ranking to be able to go and play. Okay. So once we did that, we were supposed to go to Dallas in 2020, but when COVID happened, it got canceled. So this year was the year that we went. And yeah, when we went down there, we played our first game the day after we got there. Then we played the game the next day. Then we had one rest day. Then we played the game the next day, and that was the group stage. And we ended up winning 2 games, and we tied the second game. And then after that, then it was the knockout rounds. So we had the quarterfinals, and then we had the semifinals and the finals, all in 3 days.
And were all these teams, are these all U.S. based teams, or did you have some from maybe say Puerto Rico or Canada, or was this just basically? Is it all these teams? I need you to educate me because I don't know. So, or is all these teams from the continental U.S.?
Well, usually Dallas Cup is known for having international teams there, but this year because of COVID, they didn't have any, so it was all teams from the U.S.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, goodness. Good question.
Yeah. So my question is, are you looking forward to some international competition as things start to open up?
Yes, sir.
Sure,
definitely.
for
Definitely.
sure.
So we'll be back there next year. And yeah, hopefully, God willing, you know what I'm saying, COVID willing, those international teams will be there and we'll get first crack at them. And that will be even bigger. That will be even bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as defending champs, do you automatically get an automatic bid to the tournament?
Yep,
okay.
Automatic. We are already there.
Nice.
We already there.
Now, did I also hear that there was another PG County team in a different age group that was in the playoffs?
No, Baltimore. They were from Baltimore.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And then no disrespect. Right. Shout out to them. But once again, they're part of that big arm, right? With all that extra help and you know the lots of dollars of backing. You know what I mean? But still, shout out to them, right? Another Maryland outfit that went out there and did their thing, but still, it's a little bit different than us, though, right? Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, we need to change that narrative and start getting some big boy dollars behind y'all. Exactly. Definitely, if you guys have any like merchandise, paraphernalia, stuff like that, let us know because I know all the fellas here rock all that stuff for sure.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely keep y'all in the loop with that. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's big time. And already just doing what y'all did so far, that's great.
So it sounds like that. I know that a lot of club teams are kind of taking more of the European model. They're bringing it over here where you have the big club teams. So why doesn't DC United have local teams that they sponsor?
Yeah, so as I was saying about how the MLS teams have those clubs who with those youth teams, so to speak. Yeah, so MLS has tried their own way to try to emulate the European model. It's not the same. They try to do their own version of it. Yes, DC United has a version of it, but it still ties back into what I was saying before. Like, for whatever reason, the powers that be are not trying to do this the right way. You know what I mean? They're not doing this the right way. So, once again, if DC United was doing it the right way, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of our boys would be, you know, a part of that situation, so to speak, or, you know, because how it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be a feeder, right, into right. So all these boys in this area, right, should be like part of a funnel to go through DC United into eventually, right, that pro status at DC United. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite break down that simply. You know, it's a lot of other politics that goes into it. It's a lot of other things that goes into play. So, and you guys are asking good questions. I'm just gonna throw it out there. That's why I'm sure y'all know the U.S. national team doesn't have the highest success rate when it comes to the World Cup and things like that. Well, this is why.
Terrible.
Right? This is why. Right? This is why. Because the powers that be, for whatever reason, right, they want it like that. Right? They want it like that. I don't know why. I think maybe they're getting all the money and all the power, but it's set up like that, and that's why that result is looking like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think historically, when you have the certain sports like soccer, tennis, lacrosse, you tend to have, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, Coach Mark, they want to keep it to themselves, so to speak, because I mean, let's be honest, soccer, agility, quickness, coordination,
speed, power.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it alone. I'll just leave it alone. But I mean, you know, let's.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why it's like, and that's why, you know, anybody who sees our boys play, it's like you don't have to be a fan of soccer. You don't have to. If you're just a fan of sports, you're gonna like how we play. You're gonna like how we play because that's what you're gonna see. It's gonna look familiar. You know what I mean? It looks familiar. It's just like if you were to go to Brazil, right? If you watch Brazil play soccer, right, or watch Brazilians play, the same flair, the same juking that we love to see, that's what you're gonna see, right? You know what I mean? And that's because their culture, right? Brazilian soccer is like American basketball, right? Their cultures are exactly the same. You go to Brazil in the streets, everybody's playing soccer, futsal. You see what I'm saying? Everywhere, it's the same type of way. It's the same thing. So right, our boys is a reflection of that, right? And like you said, it just ties back into what you're saying. I mean, when we were down in Dallas, that's what it looked like. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. They can't do nothing with these boys because we're right. Too quick, too fast, too strong, right? Too slick, too skillful. You know, per usual.
Too well coached.
Per usual.
There you go. Throw that in there too. Yeah, don't forget that. Thank you. Don't forget that. We do that better too.
They famous for not wanting us to coach either.
You already know.
We talk about that a lot here on this show.
Exactly. And that's what you're not going to see a lot of. There's a lot of as black coaches at the highest level. You're not going to see a lot of black coaches in the college game, right? Especially in D1. You're not going to see a lot of black coaches, right, on the professional ranks, especially in America. But once again, I mean, hey, all right.
Y'all changing things.
Exactly. Right.
But, you know, we said in the beginning, we keep it real on this show. And, you know, the greater folks right now in the sport are doing what they've done in every other sport that they tried to keep us out of. It's part of the reason why it's taking so long for us to have great players in hockey. They put that racism front and center to try to keep us from getting into those sports. But now that we're starting to get into those sports, we're influencing others just like us, and we're starting to dominate. And that's what they're fearful of.
Exactly.
All right, fellas. Well, before we let y'all get out of here, I got a question. What's the next big tournament y'all are aiming for?
So the next big thing, so we got State Cup, right? So we got first round of State Cup. We were supposed to have our first round last week, but they forfeited. You know, they didn't want to smoke. They knew what we was doing. I mean, I'm telling you, we literally beat them in warm-ups. I'm not lying. Like, they was watching us warm up, and they quit. They was like, nah, man, forget it. They didn't want to do it. Aaron, tell them, man.
They did it.
Aaron had his do-rag on. They was like, these fellas are too tough, man. They got do-rags out there. But yeah, so we got State Cup. Trying to win State Cup. Once we win State Cup, then we got to go to the regional tournament, right, where we're battling for, right, to be the best team in our region. Are in Region 1, which is from Maine down to Virginia, right? We win that, then we go to the national championships in the summer. So that's what we trying to get to. That national championship in the summer, get that national title, make it official.
Well, do us a favor. Please keep in contact with us so when y'all have tournaments going on, we can put it up on our page and let people know, because we definitely want to give y'all support.
Thank you.
Again, thank you. Congratulations. Aaron,
Thank y'all. Thank
Yes.
y'all. Thank you.
Thank
I'm so proud of you, young
Thank
man.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Proud of you
I
too,
would
Aaron.
tell you, your dad's talking about taking your hand in and everywhere, and he was so proud of you. It was incredible. So
That's
keep
beautiful.
doing your good stuff, and we look forward to hearing more great things about the Monarchs. Coach Mark, it was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
talking
Thank
with you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Whenever y'all want to talk about soccer again, please, man, let me come back.
Oh, we got
Let me
you.
Oh,
come
no
back,
doubt, we
man.
got you.
I like y'all questions. Y'all gonna help us expose some things out here for real.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey,
Good
we
questions.
love that.
For
We
real.
all
Yeah, I can tell.
We
I
keep
can
it
tell.
straight, no
Yeah,
chaser.
that's what's up.
We get down into the nitty gritty about why things happen the way they do about
Amen.
sports, because we
Yeah.
love sports. We're sports fans.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the love.
You mess with us, we'll have you in Audi Field before you know it.
Let's go. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, fellas. Again, we appreciate y'all. We're going
Thank you,
to
guys.
jump off and talk a little NFL. So we
Okay.
will talk to y'all soon.
All right.
Congratulations again. Keep up the
Thanks
good work.
again.
Thank you.
All right,
Sir.
y'all.
Again,
Thank you.
fellas.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Y'all be safe.
All right.
You too. Thank
Man, fellas, that was
great.
awesome.
Yes.
That was
you. That was
awesome.
real good.
That was
Yeah,
an
I believe
education. That was
40
an education.
minutes went by like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was crazy. So let's go ahead and knock this AFC out real quick. So the draft is 10 days away.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last.
So it's coming up. So in the AFC, you got the AFC West. You got the Chiefs, the Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. I mean, the big dog in there obviously is the Chiefs. Back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. Chiefs did release both of their tackles, even though both of them were injured.
Mhm.
And they also released Damian Williams, which a lot of people don't remember, was huge in their Super Bowl victory.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think the Chiefs need to do or have done already to make another run, try to do it 3 times in a row back to the Super Bowl?
Well, they must know something we don't know, because I felt that Damian Williams was going to get back to form. So by releasing him, I mean, I know they got faith in Hilaire, and I know they still got your boy there. He was once Pittsburgh, his name. But I think he's maybe that third down into the career type back. So they must have something up their sleeves that they're going to bring in at running back. And I know they've been not so quiet about their search for linemen, to fill in those holes. Of course, they didn't want to pay to keep the two, Eric Fisher and Schwartz there. So they're probably going to look at some cheaper alternatives to anchor that line, because I feel they are going to do the right thing, unlike Seattle, and make sure they protect their $500 million quarterback. So I think we'll see some moves there. And I think they may even do something, at least one, in the draft. I'm not saying first round, but I'm certainly saying maybe the second or third round, they might reach for a lineman to solidify that line.
It's all about offensive line with Kansas City. I mean, we all witnessed that on Super Bowl Sunday. So, I mean, they do get their former All-Pro, All-Star guard back that opted out. Laurent, what is his name? Laurent Duvernay, I think, from Canada.
Cardiff, yep.
Yeah. So they get him back, but it's all about offensive line. They have to build through the draft at this point, because they have no money. They have so much money tied up in Mahomes and Cheetah and Kelsey. They have to go through the draft to find linemen.
It was interesting. They actually tried to sign Trent Williams, but he wanted a little too much money. No, they was
Of course.
deep. They was deep in the negotiations with Trent Williams. He just wouldn't come down enough. They needed at the last second. San Francisco decided to go ahead and pony up and give him all that he wanted. So
Mm-hmm.
But
Trent was like that when he was here in this city. He about that money.
Yeah,
he should be.
A sneaky pickup was Kyle Long. He took a year off and let his body heal. They say he is in phenomenal shape.
I know, but Kyle's mentals is a little off. You know, like my man Skittles talk about protect your mentals, and you know we talked about that on this show. And Kyle Long, if you look at his history, go back to college. I don't trust him. Plus, he's banged up. That's why he left Chicago for, I guess, the last 2 years he was in Chicago. He never played. He was hurt. So maybe the year off, like you said, maybe his body did get healthy. You know, after a year off, it helped Gronk. You know, we've seen other players do that, but I don't know. I just think that, like I said, offensive line. That's what they need help with.
Do you think the Raiders or the Chargers are going to make any significant gains to challenge Kansas City?
You know, the Chargers, they actually need a little good luck because they suffered a tremendous amount of injuries on that defense, and the defense is if everyone can stay healthy, if in the NFL it's an if, they're actually on paper they're actually good, and the players that have been hurt in the past, they've actually performed in the past, so know they're good. The Chargers, again, they just have to shore up their offensive line. Their pass catchers are fine. They did lose Hunter Henry to New England. However, I still think that they have enough of offense led by Keenan Allen outside. I think they still and the young kid. I think Justin Haybert. I think they still have I think they have enough. The Raiders, again, they're off. I can't believe the theme is offensive line, but Gruden basically gave his offensive line. That was a strength. But the team I'm interested in that division, because I think Vegas, I was going to say San Diego, the Chargers, and obviously KC, I think they're fine. The interesting team in that, and I'm really looking forward to their draft, is Denver. Because now that Elway does not have control of the draft, he's just the figurehead as far as, I guess, signing checks, and they actually have a real GM. I'm curious to see how they go about their business, because we've seen Drew Lock for 2 years. He sucked. And Elway can't seem to get it right when it comes to quarterback. So that's the team that I want to see what they can do. All the other teams I think are on their natural trajectory. It seems to be okay.
Yeah, Ed snatched a little bit of my thunder because I was going to start with the Denver Broncos because I don't think they're done in the quarterback area. I really think that they're going to pull something that's going to surprise a lot of people. And I think that team will be the closest competitors for Kansas City this year. I think the Raiders are actually going to take the place of the bottom of the division because I do see the Chargers making a step up. As long as they don't throw the ball to Jared Cook. You know, losing Henry and picking up Cook is a bump. That's why New Orleans couldn't rely on him. How many times did he drop touchdowns this past year? I can't stand the dude, so I'm glad he's over there somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. So I think, of course, with any team to really make a run, you got to have a solid offensive line. I really think Denver will do a lot to make sure that the key positions are solidified. And I think they will make a splash at quarterback that is going to surprise us. As a matter of fact, I've been kind of racking my brain about what move that they would make in order to get the quarterback that they need for now and in the future to come in and actually start right away. Because they weren't too bad last year. They were competitive. I mean, I know they had some key injuries and they stunk up maybe a couple of games, but for the most part, they were competitive, and their problem was their quarterback. He just could not get it done. And then when they had their little coronavirus thing and they end up playing a game without a quarterback, I mean, that was the apex of what they had to go through last year. So my second place team this year would be the Denver Broncos.
What do you see, Big Reg?
Well,
did you say Teddy?
The best thing for Denver to do is bring in Teddy.
Ooh.
That's what I thought you said.
That would immediately upgrade them at the QB position, give them stability. Not saying he's a long-term, but he could be a great bridge, and then they could draft their long-term project quarterback maybe in the second, third round. Because there are some good quarterbacks that aren't going to go in the first round that can be developed. and give them chance to develop, because they got a lot of young weapons on offense for Denver. So, but I think the Chargers, just if the defense of the Chargers can stay healthy, they're going to be the closest things. But I don't think anybody's going to really bother Kansas City except for Kansas City. Kansas City's the only team that can stop them from winning that division easy for me. Mm-hmm. The toughest division, I think, in the AFC is the AFC East. You got the new bullies on the bottom, the Buffalo Bills.
Fool's gold.
Woo! Y'all heard it here first. You got New England Patriots doing unpatriot things, spending more money than they spent in years in free agency on 1 year. And then you got Patriots South, the Miami Dolphins, who I told y'all last year that they had a bunch of picks and they were putting together a crazy squad. They still got those picks, and they were 10-6 last year. So, and then the Jets are the Jets. So, who has the biggest moves in the AFC East to get done in the draft to run that division?
I would say, who? Well, okay, we're not going to mention the Jets. They're semi-pro. Here's what I see. The Buffalo Bills have the best quarterback and the best wide receiver combination in probably in the AFC. Let's put that there. Mm-hmm. I said probably. It's debatable between Mahomes and Cheetah.
It's arguable.
You could debate it.
No doubt.
At worst, the second or third. Let's say the second, because Mahomes has a ring. But whatever. But New England's interesting because they went on a spending spree in free agency. Plus, they get a lot of those players back that they have opted out last year. And don't forget, they had the most of the NFL last year. Plus, Belichick has a chip on his shoulder, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does the draft this year, because they have a history of trading back to accumulate picks. But I think at 68 or 69 years old now, he's seen a losing season for the first time in probably since he was in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he has a lot. He can't wait to accumulate picks. He needs to win now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Miami on the turn, they have two issues they need to address. Number one, because they have a championship defense. Yeah. Number one is, how are they going to support Tua? And we'll know early on this year if they really have faith in his in number one, Tua Tagovailoa. Because if they don't get him any more playmakers, and if they don't solidify that line, they need about another one or two players on that offensive line. They did invest 2 top 40 picks last year on their offensive line, and they actually played a lot. But I think Tua obviously is the key. Tua and another receiver is the key for them to draft this year, because Tua, in my opinion, should not have played last year, because prior to the year leading up there, he was rehabbing. He was spending more time rehabbing and doing functional work instead of doing football work. And there's a difference. You know, he was just wanting to get healthy. But anyway, he should be healthy and ready to roll this year. And it's going to be interesting to see if they actually support the man to let him succeed. Because, again, that defense in Miami is ready to win right now.
Well, I'm still picking Buffalo as the class of the AFC East, and here's why. The most prolific and important position on the field is quarterback. He is the best quarterback in the division. Yes. No matter what the Patriots do at their position, Cam Newton is still an unknown whether he can come back from COVID with a full offseason, if he can even resemble close to what he was in his MVP season. Tua, I think, is a little gun shy. Now that Jacoby Brissett is down there, and you know Jacoby is going to push him to get on the field. And if he's really healthy, does he have the full confidence of the coach to actually go out there and get it done? And not only that, the team turned on him last year. And that's going to be in the back of his mind. So what is his psyche going to be like coming in the training camp and really moving ahead to get the team to where it needs to go? And like you said, we're not really looking or counting much for the Jets. But Emmanuel Sanders got picked up by the Buffalo Bills. Now you put him with Diggs on the other side, man, I think that offense is gonna hum. And their defense is already solid. They were already this close to getting there this year, and I think they still going to just edge out the Patriots to win that division once again?
The Bills need to do something for running back.
Yes.
And their defense is still a little suspect. Just a little. They need to tighten up the defense. But I'm not worried about Tua as much as y'all are. Y'all don't forget, Tua signed with Alabama knowing that Jalen Hurts was there and just won SEC Offensive Player of the Year as a freshman. And still came and was pissed off that he wasn't playing by the end of his freshman year because he was outplaying Jalen in practice. So he doesn't mind competing.
Right.
So
I agree.
I think him getting healthy and getting an actual off season to work on football stuff, they got to get him a weapon. They need to use that number 5 pick on Pitts if he's there, or the wide receiver. And I know everybody would say get the wide receiver from one of the Bama boys. I would get LSU wide receiver that sat out a year because he's a bigger body. He's got freakish wingspan. So they get him that and then use that, because don't forget, they got a second first-round pick. Use the second first-round pick on the offensive line, and then they got 2 seconds to beef up that line. Miami going to be a problem. And I can see Miami giving Buffalo all they want for the AFC East. That's going to be a good one to watch. All right, we going in your backyard, Ed.
Good. I like it.
You called it last year. You shocked us. You said the Steelers was going to win the AFC North. We laughed at you.
Y'all did laugh.
At you, mocked you, and
We did.
you was dead right. So I'm giving you the floor
at the end.
Tell me about the AFC North this year.
I still think, of course, I still think Pittsburgh is going to win the division, and for me to say that this year is borderline insane. That's even worse than last year. They have no running back.
Yeah, I'm about to say, talk about who need running backs.
They have no offensive linemen. They have two promising. They have a promising guard. Whatever. They have no offensive tackles. They have no tight end at all.
Lost their center.
Well, that's offensive line. Yeah, they don't have a center. Their linebacker depth is suspect. Yeah, and Big Ben is a one hit away from
retirement.
Yeah, for retirement. So they have no succession plan in place for him in case that happens. So let's just say, but I still think Pittsburgh will win the division because somehow, some way, I think Ben is going to stay healthy. I just have a feeling he's going to stay healthy. Baltimore will be second. It's the more things change, the more things stay the same. Baltimore will be second, but they have to address the interior line on that team quick. More than a wide receiver, they need to address the interior line of that team. And if they do, they may win the division, to be honest with you. Because, heck, let's be honest, Baltimore cannot draft wide receivers. They can draft great tight ends, but they can't, for whatever reason, draft wide receivers. And personally, I don't think they should try. I think they should stick to, and Baltimore usually does this. They usually stick to what they know. And I know people keep hollering about edge rushers and someone to affect a quarterback on Baltimore's team, but no, that's not. They're fine. They need another tight end because their second tight end that they lost to Atlanta last year, they didn't realize how much that was going to affect them. Anyway, they're number 2. Cleveland's fine. They've been drafting in the top 10 for 45 years. They have talent on that team. They just have to perform. They need a little help on their defensive line, except outside of Garrett, but they should be fine. And they could use a linebacker. Yeah, and Cincinnati, they got to protect the young boy. They got that boy battered and bruised last year for no reason.
His leg broke.
Got his leg broke. Whether he can come back, people just act like an ACL is, he'll be back next year. It don't always work like that. But anyway, they need some. I think they might need maybe a backup running back. But offensive line is the theme involved in Cincinnati. So yeah, that's what I see. How y'all see it?
So contrary to what Big Ray just said, y'all, this is the best division in the AFC, and I'm gonna tell you why. And the Steelers, they'll be lucky to come in second place. I actually have, depending on the way that the Ravens go, I disagree with you. This draft is wide receiver rich, just like last year, and they have to go away from the defensive side of the ball in their draft and get one of these stud wide receivers to give their star quarterback a bona fide weapon to make a difference. Yeah, they can do a little bit with the line, but don't forget, he's still athletic enough to get out the way. He's not done yet in that area. So they'll be enamored with him being able to still move and run. But if they can get him a weapon, and then if they can replace Ingram in the backfield with at least a decent second, third down running back, they'll be okay. But Cleveland, I'm going to shock you. I got Cleveland winning this division next year because They've made steps the last 2 years. They've drafted well. We laughed Baker Mayfield out, and all Alabama did was go from shining in every commercial known to man to actually being a bona fide quarterback in the NFL that can win some games. I think he still has room to grow and will take that step. And the defense and that team that he has around him, because don't forget his weapons. He's still got a plethora of weapons that he can use. And when you put that and how your boys will start out strong, but they're going to melt down earlier this year. So I got them like a 9-7, 8-8 team. So I don't think y'all are going to solve the running back. I think Ben is going to struggle. And I really think we'll see Haskins before the season is over. And you guys are just going to be looking for next year's draft. I mean, I see it that way. Cincinnati, they'll still make some steps, but they won't compete for the division. But I really have the Cleveland Browns shocking that division world and winning that division next year.
If the Cleveland Browns sign Clowney tomorrow, he'll be in Cleveland tomorrow. They've been flirting with him for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is around the time where you start making decisions. If they sign him tomorrow and put him on the opposite end of that other monster from Texas A&M, Cleveland going to be a problem. And if Clowney signs, Cleveland wins the division.
Okay, y'all laughed at me last year. Going to laugh this year too.
The Ravens, I like the pickup of Zeitler for guard, but the Ravens need to fix the interior line. They didn't realize how big of an issue it was when they had a possible Hall of Famer guard retired. So if they can get another guard in the draft to solidify that offensive line, and they got to get another big body young receiver. Doesn't have to be a first round receiver. Like the professor said, if you can get a good receiver second or third round in this draft. There's some good players out there. Not saying he's going to be used all the time, but they need to be able to get the safeties away from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but Big Reg and Professor J, it doesn't make a difference if they get a receiver or not. He's not going to get him the ball.
Dude, we said last year and throughout the season that he is progressing as a passer. Do you not remember that? He is progressing as a passer. I didn't say he was John Elway or Drew Brees or Tom Brady, but he is making steps in becoming a better passer.
I agree. I'll say it.
Lamar is doing the work when people aren't looking. Lamar's working right now. He's had his boy Hollywood with him most of the offseason. They even work. I wouldn't be mad with him if I told you they should have did this last year. They need to go ahead and sign AB. Put AB in the slot. If they put AB in the slot and get a young wide receiver, plus they added the old fella that keeps getting hurt,
Watkins.
With that running game, they would be a problem. If AB comes to the Ravens, they'd be the problem.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of talking to parents. You ever talk to parents and y'all all at the school event and they keep hyping up their kid and the kid they said he got special tutors. He got one-on-one instruction by his mom and dad every night.
Really is.
But then the kid is working hard.
Was an NFL MVP.
The kid is really working hard, but he just can't get it. It's just
He led
no
the
matter
league
what.
in passing TDs.
Big Red,
Stop it.
Big Red, you know you have a gifted and talented young lady. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody think they can. No matter how hard you work, everybody can't go to Harvard Law. Stop. I'm done.
Right.
But quick question: do you really think AB gonna leave his boyfriend down there in Tampa Bay?
Man,
They don't want to pay him.
I want Lamar to do well. That's all I'm gonna say. I love my black quarterbacks.
Well, if he want another ring, he better stay.
Tampa Bay is real simple. You can have the same deal you had last year. We'll sweeten it with some extra bonuses, but that's it. I don't think his ego won't let him play for that. And that's his problem. But he's working out right now with Hollywood and Lamar. Right now. All right, let's move to the weakest division in the AFC and we get out of here. You got the AFC South. Quite honestly, this is a two-team race. Mm-hmm. It may only be a one-team race, depending on what your boy Carson Wentz does. But the Tennessee Titans, they seem like the big dogs to me. They need, like everybody else, everybody can improve the offensive line. They need a wide receiver so that they can expand their offense more and not have to lean on King Henry all the time.
But just like we talked about Lamar, it don't make a difference if you get a wide receiver. Tannehill is a wide receiver himself. So how is he going to be throwing from a wide receiver to a quarterback? You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to work. He's a wide receiver. Check the stats when he got to Texas A&M. He was a wide receiver. I saw him play. I went to the game in Texas. So he's a wide receiver, but he gets paid like a top quarterback because of Henry, who only makes $15 million a year. Travesty.
Yeah, I know you're going to beat that drum forever. And I agree with you on that one.
I'm not saying no more. I've been wilding out. I'm done.
But I mean, it goes without saying, Tennessee is just the big dog in the room. We all know what's happening with the Texans. We all know, just like the Jets, the Jacksonville Jaguars are just a JV team right now. And Carson Wentz sense, nah, son. I think what's the track record for any quarterback that ever left Philly to go somewhere else? It's not real good. And I don't really see him, if he can stay healthy, I still don't see him doing enough in that division to even sniff the Tennessee Titans with that team. I mean, they let T.Y. go, right? T.Y. Hilton is gone. I mean, they got a lot of holes to fill. Oh, he retired? Okay, my bad. Okay, so you got T.Y. The defense is like that. Love the defense for the Colts. But where are you? The running backs are decent, but where are you really going to get that oomph to really compete with Tennessee in that division? I just don't see it. Carson Wentz is suspect. He had that good season where he was close to being an MVP when he got hurt, and then everything just fell off the rails.
But see, the problem with Tennessee is that if Derrick Henry has an injury, or it could be like a small, I don't want a major injury. It could be like a hamstring and it's just a nagging injury. Mm-hmm. That's their whole game plan, because Tannehill can't win games alone. He can barely win games with Henry, with the best running back in the NFL behind him. So I just don't see it being that big of a challenge for Indy to ascend to that top spot. You know how I feel about Carson Wentz. I think he's a bum. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy at South Dakota State. So if he can't stay North Dakota State, wherever he went, one of them Dakota States.
North Dakota State.
If he can't stay healthy at a little school like that, I mean, how can he stay? In the NFL, he's already proven he can't stay healthy. Plus, he got a little bit of that. Yeah. I should be starting, and no one else should be starting. About him, and what that's about. But yeah. I just think that as we speak, as far as being a proven winner, I think Indy is the second best team clearly in that division, because the brother at Houston, well, we don't know what's going to happen in Houston, and he's just going to be in a bad situation. I think Urban might have a little success down in Jacksonville, but we don't know what Lawrence is going to do in the NFL. We don't know. They do, they have a couple pieces in place. I know they only won 2 games. One. 2. Was it 2?
One. No,
yeah, one.
And what did Urban Meyer do when he started losing to Florida?
Chest pains. I'm out. I mean, I ain't messing with the man. I don't want the man to, have chest pains. But
what happened at Ohio State after he won the national championship and couldn't win again?
Scandal.
Chest pains, stress. Right.
He gonna come into the NFL?
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll just delegate. Maybe he'll just sit back and delegate power. That's all head coach needs to do anyway, is delegate power.
Oh, yeah, he gonna get that money. Get that money.
Yeah.
I think that was a grab. Then he can go right back to Fox.
Exactly. He was about to get from Daniel Snyder. Let's not forget that. He was real close. But he looked at the culture and probably was like, nah, I ain't going there.
Yeah. So that is our AFC quick look. Next week, we will hit the NFC. Spend a little more time in the NFC. Let's couple of things that caught our attention this week. For you basketball fans, just want to point out that this Thursday is the Wnba Draft. It's going to be on ESPN. Please check it out. Support the ladies. In that same vein, we got to say congrats to Arizona coach Adia Barnes. She was added to Coach Dawn Staley's women's national team coaching staff after her great run in the NCAA tournament. So congratulations. Eddie George has become the new head coach at Tennessee State. Another superstar NFL player giving back and going back to HBCU. So that is big stuff. Got to give my man Hideki Matsuyama a big props for winning the Masters. I mean, that is huge. They can have the Olympics. Can you imagine? That's a minimum of $30 to $100 million revenue he's gonna make over the next 2 years just from winning that tournament. Huge. For you boxing fans.
Lucky we don't have Fuzzy Zola there no more talking about what they're gonna have for the dinner next year.
Oh yeah. For you boxing fans, I'm gonna give you a name to please remember. Jaron, aka Boots Ennis, out of Philadelphia. He is a welterweight. He's undefeated, 27-0, 25 knockouts.
Calling everybody out.
This past Saturday, he knocked out Sergey Lipinets in the 6th round. And it wasn't even that close. Probably could have finished him earlier. He's a monster, young monster. I think he's 23 years old. Look out for him. Them old heads and the welterweight that don't want to fight each other, they better look out. They got a young lion coming. For you UFC fans, we got a fight night this Saturday. Former champion Whitaker is fighting former champion Gaslam. So that's another one. That's going to be on ESPN. And then another boxing treat. Demetrius Andrade, the most feared man in boxing because nobody will fight this dude. He's a WBO middleweight title holder. He's going to fight Liam Williams on the zone. And then Tony Harrison comes back and fights on Fox. So those are just some things that caught our eye. It's now time for the professor to give us his post takes for the evening.
Real quick, Big Reg, I swear it was a light middleweight. Who was the light heavyweight? The African dude. I watched it. He hit this dude so hard. He knocked him. Yes. He's knocked everybody out. He is a monster. He's a heavyweight. He started at cruiserweight. He's been fighting at heavyweight for 4 fights. He is a monster. Yes, he is. I was flipping through and I landed on that fight. I caught it right at the end. Man, it was like a truck hit that dude and his legs just folded. Good God almighty.
His whole body contorted, his leg facing one way, his upper body was twisted. One punch. Yeah, that man is a monster.
Yeah. All right, y'all, let's get into the post takes because the hour is getting late. Now, it's a surprise for y'all fellas, but y'all gonna love it. This is my salute to the Masters. So I'm giving some fun facts and trivia that a lot of y'all didn't know. So let's get it. Konnichiwa, a well-deserved victory for Hideki Matsuyama. He has become Japan's first victory at the Masters. He has now solidified his name on a short list of non-Caucasian champions at the Masters. He joins the likes of Tiger Woods, Vijay Singh, and Sergio Garcia. He also joins an even shorter list of former amateurs to play at the Masters to eventually win as a professional. Congratulations. Robert Lee Elder was the first African American to play in the Masters tournament in 1975. He would miss the cut that year. His highest finish at the Masters was 17th, which came in 1979. He had 16 professional wins and was well loved and respected by many. Elder was present for Tiger Woods when he became the first African American to win the Masters in 1997. Ron Townsend became the first African American member of Augusta National, where the Masters Championship is played, in 1990. The Champions Dinner is for members of the Masters Club, those who have won a Masters tournament, and is hosted by the defending champion on Tuesday of Masters Week. The tradition of members wearing green jackets began in 1937, when jackets were purchased from New York's Brooks Uniform Company. The idea was that Masters patrons easily could identify the members who could give them accurate information. Avid golfer Dwight Ike Eisenhower is the only U.S. president to have been a member or club member. Ike's pond occupies 3 acres near hole number 9 on the par 3 course and a 9-hole layout that is the site of the traditional par 3 contest on Wednesday of Masters Week. Each hole is named after a plant or shrub that adorns it. For example, hole number 3 is called the flowering crab apple. An estimated 80,000 plants have been added since the course was built. The tournament was not played during the years of 1943, 44, and 45. You know why? World War II. To help with the war effort, turkey and cattle were raised on Augusta National's grounds. The record fountain was built to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Masters. It is located left of number 17 green and displays course records and Masters tournament winners. There are 3 dedicated bridges at Augusta National. The Sarazen Bridge at hole number 15 to honor Gene Sarazen, his double eagle there during the 1935 Masters. The Hogan Bridge at number 12 green to honor Ben Hogan's then record score of 274 in 1953. And the Nelson Bridge at number 13 T to honor Byron Nelson's performance on holes 12 and 13 when he won the 1937 Masters. So salute to the Masters. It was certainly phenomenal. I watched so much of it this weekend. Just great to see that competition. And certainly we know that Tiger Woods was missed. Back to you, Big Reg.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate that, Professor. Appreciate that. All right, it is time for us to get up out of here. So it is time for our final post. Ed, why don't you start us off, my brother?
Yeah, I just want to thank, obviously, Aaron and Coach Mark for shining some light on their experiences and the Monarchs soccer team. So I definitely appreciate them coming on. As usual, I appreciate you guys. Can't say enough how much I appreciate you guys. We all have our things that we're involved in, and it's just easy. It's just easy when a group of guys like that supports me the way you guys do is available. So thank you. Also, most important is our listeners and our viewers. Thank you for always showing up. We definitely appreciate you. And again, stay safe. If you believe in vaccines, get one. If you don't, wear your mask and stay 6 feet apart. See you next week.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Professor, you up?
Thank you guys for listening. Certainly, once again, another shout out to the future Monarchs and Ed, man. I love you too. Big Reg, man. Y'all, you guys are the best. J3 and J Wills, we missed y'all tonight, but J3, thank you for chiming in the chat. You kept it lively. Love you, brother. Hope all is well. And lastly, y'all, I'm sorry. I hate that we continue to have to go in this direction. Dante Wright, the young man who was gunned down by an officer in Minnesota, thinking that it was a taser. We have to keep visiting these same narratives. When is our country really going to wake up and start seeing us as human beings instead of people to take target practice with? Police are supposed to be trained to handle situations and handle individuals in a way where you can preserve life. It's done for other people, so it can be done for everybody. But just prayers, shout out to his family, his mom, just a heart-wrenching interview she gave yesterday. We really have to come together as a nation and stop this hate.
I appreciate that, Professor. I'm going to piggyback on that a little bit. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the Monarchs and Coach Mark. It was an honor and privilege to speak with you guys, and hopefully we shed a little light on your situation and the amazing feat that you guys pulled off down at the Dallas Cup. I knew it was big, but I had no idea that was the most prestigious soccer event in the U.S. So hats off to you guys. I would just like to remind everybody, we did a show last year with Police Chief Ayers. Mm-hmm. And one thing he said, and it shines through today, unfortunately, because of what happened up in Minneapolis area. You may be perfectly right, but the goal is to get home. Do what you got to do to get home. Bite your tongue, bite your lip, get home. As we saw right down the street in Virginia in December, a man in full military uniform coming from the military hospital was pulled over because they said they didn't see his tag in the window, but he had the tag because it was a brand new truck. He felt scared for his life, so he didn't stop immediately. He went to the closest lighted area, which was a gas station, pulled in, and they pulled their guns on him, pepper sprayed him, and some more stuff. So you got to be careful. It's not right, and trust me, I know it's not right, but get home. We can figure out the rest after that. Please, get home. Comply, do what you got to do at that second to save your life, because it's obvious what they fear so much that they'll come up with any excuse for using their weapons. And I'll leave it at that. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. live. And if you can't catch us live, you can follow us on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel at Positions on Sports Talk Show. You can hit us on Twitter, Positions on SPO1. And if you are the kind of person that doesn't have time, but you listen to podcasts, check out your favorite podcast platform, search Positions on Sports Talk Show. You can find us there as well. We'll be here next Tuesday. We're going to talk NFC, get you ready for the draft. We're going to talk some basketball. Jay Will says he's got some fire coming for us in basketball. So I'm looking forward to seeing y'all next week. This has been a Positional Sports Talk Show. We appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe out there. See you next Tuesday. Peace.
God bless you.